Welcome everyone to the Nerd Nook. I'm your host, 17, and with me, like always, is my spectacular friend, Noah Bailey.
Mhm.
So, starting off this week, we are finally going to be doing our review of Aquaman.
Dun, dun.
Noah saw it a few weeks ago. I saw it this past weekend, and I know I've said this before, but I was going into this movie with very, very low expectations, but just hoping to walk out of this movie like not feeling like it was not feeling like it was on the same track as other DC movies. I was hoping it would at least be the second best DC movie, but again, that's not saying much considering what we.
The bar's only this high.
Yeah. Like at least be better than BVS. Just do that, please.
Oh,
And
well,
I I'd say it met that. Yeah.
okay.
The like just we'll get into more spoiler stuff in a second, but just very very brief summary of my feelings. The good stuff, I felt I was really really good. I really liked the action. I
Mhm.
actually like the humor a lot. I like Jason Momoa's character, which I wasn't expecting to. I love Mara. I love Queen Atlanta. The only problem is the bad stuff was just boring, which is honestly, in my opinion, worse than bad. Like when there's no action happening, nothing's happening, and that's not really the type of balance you want for a movie like this. Like especially that scene where they were walking in the desert, it just
Mhm.
kind of kept going and going, and they like Queen Mara and Aquaman were talking for I guess Princess Mara whatever at the point we're talking, and I just didn't really care much about what they were talking. They were just kind of bickering, and you didn't really
Mhm.
care. And then finally, uh, then finally they found that temple, but like even that wasn't super interesting. It just and and also the probably the scene that kind of dropped the ball the most for me personally, of going into spoiler territory, is when he is getting the trident. I felt I don't know. I felt like that scene could have been done a little bigger, a little more dramatically. It just kind of I just didn't really get the sense that Aquaman was really in danger. I didn't get the sense that like it just didn't feel like this was really what the entire movie is leading to, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
Mm.
It's like anticlimactic.
Yeah. Now, of course, the big battle at the very end was spectacular, and like that's what
Pretty good.
like if
Yeah.
if it had just if he had just walked in and then walked back out with a trident, I think that would have been kind of funny. I didn't really you didn't really need to see him, actually go through the process of getting it. Also, another thing that kind of ruined that scene for me was the music that was playing. Like,
Mm.
considering how this movie was very Black Panthery and like a lot of aspects, especially with the whole throne room scene, or like fight for the throne scene. I feel they could have
Mhm.
kind of leaned into a more like R&B, like kind of music like that, as opposed to the more like dramatic, kind of generic superhero score they did go for. Because when he was walking out of the waterfall, it's just playing like this generic superhero esque theme. When I
Mhm.
feel that could have been a much bigger moment if it played like a more like R&B music track, but whatever, it's fine. Um, before we get into more like more positive, because there aren't actually more positive this movie than I thought there would be. Um, the one moment that threw me off the most in this movie was um, it's during the big climactic battle. Just everyone is just getting wasted on both sides. All of
Mhm.
the Atlanteans are fighting all the crab creatures, and then Aquaman and all his fish came up with that big kraken looking thing, and then like just everything is exploding. And then Queen Mara swims over to Aquaman and is like, "We need to stop this now. You need to go, confront your brother now." And then she kisses him for a full minute.
Yeah.
You need to stop this now. But
And
before that,
then
I'm gonna kiss you for a full minute pan around shot of like maybe it wasn't actually a minute, but it felt way
no,
too long.
it kind of took away from the apparent urgency.
Yeah. And it just not even that, it just stopped the momentum dead in its tracks to finish out this love story that like they were like kind of trying to make it happen throughout the movie, but I didn't feel like they ever really got there. Like I liked both these characters. I kind of liked how they interacted with each other, but I never really felt a romantic spark
Yeah.
other than like certain parts that felt really forced. But whatever, it's fine.
Yeah.
Um,
Honestly, to me, it was like almost like a brother sister relationship more
yeah,
than like, kind
mm-hmm,
of like bicker at each other, but like that's just how we do more than like,
mm-hmm,
oh, I love you. Like it was really, it was very, it felt very forced,
yeah.
which I know like sometimes, I mean, I guess since it's royalty, it is kind of arranged, but I mean, like,
And like I get
it,
it.
that's
Like
no,
you, this couple needs to exist, in order for Atlantis to go forward. And they're a couple in the comics, so you got to get there.
right.
But you could have, I don't know, done it a little more organically, or maybe it happened off screen, or just you didn't have to wrap it up in this movie. But oh well. Do you have any other like negatives you want to say before we get to
I
the
mean,
positive stuff?
Nick, yeah, like kind of what you said earlier, like the boring parts were like the action's great, but the boring parts were like really boring, and like when they're just like whenever they were just out talking during their adventure, it was just boring. Like,
Mm,
and there's also a couple things that like sometimes they explain how to get there, but like how do they go? They're in the middle of that temple, and then they pan
yeah,
a shot, boom, we're in Italy. Like,
yeah. It's
okay,
like
so how did you get? You have no transportation. How did you get from the middle of
you have
literally the
no
Sahara?
water, no transportation. You're lost in the
Exactly.
desert.
No
You
way to get anywhere. And you just, you're in Italy instantly. Like almost
oh, it's
like
because they had a map to show where to go. Like that doesn't mean
I
anything.
don't I don't care if you have a map. You tell me you walked from the Sahara Desert to Sicily, Italy. Like you
Yes,
just walked there. Like that's I mean, like, okay.
sure.
Like, especially how they were talking about how trapped they were. And then also, like, okay, so I know that they were taking the boat or whatever
Hmm.
because there was the trench or like like
Oh
the
yeah,
trench people or whatever, something like that. But I was still like, okay, but what is a boat gonna do that swimming at 100 miles an hour can't
yeah.
do?
My like I kind of felt that funny too, but I maybe I could logic it in a way where like they didn't want to swim because they thought Orin might sense them in the water or something.
Is that a thing?
I
Like
don't
from
know.
across the
That's
world? I don't know if is that a thing? Like, because I feel like because they were in the water for a while at some point. So like, I
I mean
mean,
ever like I don't think they ever actually were in the ocean between the time they were in the desert and the trench.
okay, but
But
like, does that work though? You can just sense him anywhere in the like. I know he's ocean master, but I mean, like, does that do anything? I don't know if that's
yeah,
a I don't know if that is a thing. It wasn't explicitly
yeah,
said, so it was just
that
kind of confused. Cause
why are these people who can swim ultrasonic speeds
yeah,
underwater using a boat? They should have explained
on a
that.
boat. That's what I was saying.
Like
Like
Aquaman
I
could have been
know it
like,
was
"Why are we in a boat again? Why can't we just swim?" And that's
yes,
an opportunity for Mary
yeah.
to
That would
explain
have
it.
been worth it because like I'm sitting here and I'm looking at Will and I'm looking at my brother and I'm just like, what? Why is that in a boat? And he's just like I was just like so confused about
Mm,
that. But yeah, I mean those were the main two things. I was just like, this makes no sense to me.
yeah,
But I mean, generally the movie makes sense, kind of.
there's no
Um,
glaring plot holes outside of the boat, which like you can reason around, I guess. Which is
yeah,
more than you could say for other DC movies.
yeah. I mean, yeah. Obviously, like this one was better put together than a lot of its
Mm,
predecessors. But I mean, it's still like, what? Like, there's a couple things. Like, it's not by any means perfect, but it does. The amount of holes is not nearly the amount of good things it has, which
yeah.
is a positive. So.
Mm. Um, so I kind of have a love hate relationship with the opening of this movie. I felt like you didn't necessarily need to go through the entirety of Aquaman's backstory in order to, show where we got here, especially since Aquaman was
Mhm.
already in Justice League. Though, I mean, no one saw Justice League, so I
Yeah.
guess they just kind of. So I kind of understand it, but I felt like it lasted a little too long. It's pretty much everything that you learned in the first 10-minute flashback, you also learned later on in the movie. So I just couldn't help but feel like they added this because pre-screenings like were confused about how Aquaman exists or whatever. So they just kind of added this later, maybe. Um, but at the same time, um, I really, really liked the little squabble that Atlanta had with those guards. I just after watching her like waste those like six dudes, I was like, "Can we have a movie about her? I want this movie to be about her, please."
No, it was pretty intense. Like she
Mhm.
Ashley throughout the house, just and then just
Yeah.
pulls out trident. We're like, oh, we have one of those. Like, go get mommy's
Mhm.
trident. Yeah, that was pretty crazy. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, the opening was pretty good. I will say, I don't really get how I don't like how like it almost feels like they ignore Justice League kind of because like
There was
it's
one
like
line.
it's
There was one line
yeah,
mentioning
like
Steppenwolf, and that was it.
yeah, and like but then they still act like they've never like after all that they still act like they've never really talked, and I'm like, but there was definitely a scene where you guys interact. It looks like almost like they're seeing each other for the first time, and I'm
I
like,
mean, he kind of when Mara popped out, he was like, "Oh no, not this again," as if as
yeah,
if.
but
But
I don't
then
know, I feel
also someone said Aquaman had never been to Atlantis when he clearly
right,
did in Justice League,
right, yeah, I'm like.
unless that wasn't actually Atlantis. It was like some kind of like shrine
At least
off to the side.
yeah,
But
I mean, at least in Justice League, it was like largely like believed, like that was the premise of that was Atlantis,
yeah,
Because I mean, I just feel like that was it was. I don't know if they just tried to ignore it or just kind of like
I
I
honestly
don't know. It
I would have tried to ignore it if
like
I was them.
yeah, I guess I don't know. It was just annoying for me because I was just like, okay, so are we just did this happen? Did this not happen? Like back to if they had not mentioned it and just kind of went with it, that would have been one thing. But they like brought it up, but
Yeah,
still acted as if it didn't happen. I was just kind of like, okay, now
yeah, and
pick one
also
side or the other.
kind of going off that, I kind of wish there was at least one reference to someone else in the Justice League, like a reference to Superman somewhere, a reference to Wonder Woman, especially since
Hmm.
The Atlanteans and the Amazons were at war for a while. Like you could have made, and I know this is Aquaman's movie, but I feel there just one or two references to the greater DC universe could have made it feel a little bigger than it was. But
Hmm.
oh well. Like it's like when Aquaman was saying like I'll just teach the Earthlings how to fight. Like we already have the Justice League, we can handle it. Something like
Yeah,
that. Just
yeah,
a throwaway
like
line
just
like that, saying we have the
yeah.
Justice League, we can handle it.
Yeah, you don't have to have like a huge cameo or anything, but just like, at least a mention. But I don't know. Maybe it has something to do with the whole like maybe Wonder Woman is doing that soft reboot thing. Who knows? But I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah, but I think that's pretty much all the somewhat negatives I have to throw out.
yeah, I
The
mean, yeah, overall it wasn't bad.
Yeah. Um,
Just some stuff I
again, I
was
really
thinking.
liked the humor of this movie. Probably one of my favorite jokes is
Hmm.
um, when Willem Dafoe's character was showing him the trident, like it's that ancient trident, and like the music is swelling around
Yeah,
it, and then it cuts out. It's like I already have one of those. Like
yeah, it was just chilling.
going into this movie, I also kind of had that thought. It's like, why does he need a new trident with less pointies if he already has one with five
Yeah,
pointies?
I
Just
really
like,
got. He's like, not like this, I'm like, okay, but like, do I really need it? Like, I don't know. It was kind of weird. I was just kind of like, but yeah, I mean, there were definitely some good comedic moments.
mm,
Honestly, like I kind of like William Defoe's character, but I also feel like they didn't really explain who he
who he
was.
was. Yeah,
Yeah, he was kind of just like, oh yeah, I'm that guy that mentored you, but secretly, but I haven't been mentioned because of reasons. And then
yeah,
I kind of just, they didn't. They kind of just was there.
yeah. Like we said, there's definitely not as many problems as there are with other DC movies, but like there are some things that could have explained it a little better, but
Yeah.
whatever.
I don't know. It's just, I don't know. It irks me that it's not like they didn't have the time, but they spent the time, I feel like, a lot of their extra time in a negative way, kind of like
Mm.
trying to really force a relationship that didn't really seem like it was a romantic kind.
Mm.
And just, I don't know, just spending, like, I don't know, usually when you have characters like on a quest to like exploring, usually they do exciting stuff while exploring.
Yeah,
But like the only exciting stuff was when like the plot came to them really now when they were
yeah.
just finding stuff.
The only exciting thing was when Black Manta attacked, which
Right.
I love Black Manta. I feel like he's one of my like top five, maybe 10, I don't
Mm-hmm.
know, top five ish favorite DC
Mm-hmm.
villains. I just couldn't shake the feeling that as cool as he is, as cool as his army, as his outfit is, I couldn't shake the
Mm-hmm.
feeling that if he was removed from the movie, nothing would really change.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's the thing. He didn't make that much of an impact because, I mean, I guess you could say at the beginning, if he doesn't, not spare but Black Manta's
Mm.
dad, then he doesn't spare Orm at the end. But it's also like he could just not have done that at all. But I mean, overall, I mean, Black Manta, I feel kind of like how I said last week, Black Manta's not used as much in this movie, but it's still setting up for other movies. So I
Yeah,
think that's the important thing.
yeah,
They kind
because
of he wasn't the main premise.
he's obviously at the very beginning during that submarine fight scene, which again, the fights in this movie are usually
Hmm.
pretty good. And we got to uh, and then like he had like minor cameos with Ocean Master talking to him like a couple of times throughout, and then the big fight in Venice, which I felt lasted a little too long. Like the chase scene between Mara and those guards just lasted just like a minute too long. But other than that, like it was still a pretty good fight.
Hmm.
Um, and then after that, that was like felt like halfway through the movie. um,
Yeah, it was like maybe like 60% in, and then after that, it's kind of just like there aren't no more Black Manta. And I really was disappointed because I wanted more Black Manta.
I mean,
Because
obviously
like,
he's in the after credit scene, but of course he was
yeah,
like
but
he's
I
not
mean,
dead.
I want more of Black Manta doing. I want him more
Yeah.
in this movie. I know this is Ocean Master's the main villain. That's what they're trying to push. But like,
Mm.
I don't know, Ocean Master never really felt like a villain. He just kind of felt like a stumbling block, kind of.
Yeah.
He didn't
It
really
just
feel like he was a bad
something to
person,
get
but
the
not like
plot moving. Yeah.
yeah, he's just the token bad, evil king or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
and I know that's his actual character, but I mean, I feel like they could have. I feel like the movie could have done a better job, like showing you his side. You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because like no,
Yeah.
kind of just was like movie was kind of like okay, he's the bad guy. There's no reason why he just is. It didn't like try to show you his perspective of why
I mean,
having
they did the
why
generic
Lance
thing
being
of
bad.
like, oh, humans are terrible. They pollute everything, so we need to go kill them. I need to unite the seven seas to kill them, to kill the humans.
Yeah.
But that's just kind of generic.
Yeah.
Every single plot with ocean-based creatures has at least an environmental
Right.
subplot to it.
A Starcraft world,
Yeah.
and like the very obvious, like, oh, humans attacked us, but obviously it's staged,
It's,
like, like that. That was very much like underwhelming. I was like,
yeah.
really, we're doing this, like,
And it's also a little annoying since every single instance of Aquaman being introduced in anything, it's this storyline with
yeah,
Ocean Master, trying to do its thing. In Brave and the Bold, in War crap, War
Justice
for
League cartoon,
Atlantis, the
Throne of Atlantis,
Throne of Atlantis, yeah, the Justice League
yeah,
cartoon. I forgot about that one.
yeah, that one too, same thing.
Yeah, I just kind of wish they could have had a different spin on Orin or incorporate Black Manta in a more unique way. Just it. Yeah, it definitely could have. I felt like I've seen it before in multiple ways, not just the fact that it
Hmm.
was. I've seen it before in cartoons. I've seen it before in Black Panther. It just seemed they could have done a little more with
Oh,
it to make it more unique. But
yeah, yeah, but I
regardless,
mean,
that fight between Aquaman and Orin in the middle
hmm
was
pretty dope,
pretty
right?
dope.
Right. Like I like how they like utilize being underwater more than that. They
Yeah.
did that more than I thought they were going to,
Hmm.
because it wasn't just oh trident fight. It was, propulsion from flying, or not flying, but swimming really
Basically flying.
fast
Yeah.
and the pressure effect. Yeah, but basically flying.
Mm,
Looked, really doing that. Also, the magic that kind of worked into it. So it's
yeah.
kind of like a mixture of like fighting with a little bit of water bending too. So
Mm,
that was kind of a good.
yeah, and I really appreciate how, because going into this movie, I was kind of afraid that the water physics wouldn't really look great, but they actually used the fact that they're underwater to their advantage, which I really wasn't
Right.
expecting and appreciated. So essentially they were like it's a basic superhero fight in the air, just underwater, and it worked just fine. So
Right.
yeah, um,
Yeah, it was pretty. Yeah, that was really. Yeah, I think they did a really good job with the action scenes. I do I like my favorite scene in the movie is the Italy chase action scene. Like I
mm,
move the camera pans and like how
oh
it's like switching between Aquaman and Mira
yeah, like it's
with their
shot
separate
very well.
chases.
Yeah, yeah,
Right? Yeah, like I know. Like even though it was in the trailer, but it is shot really well.
yeah,
And
me too.
like how like he's chasing him, and then he's got Black Manta's got the beans. Like he
Mm,
jumps off and the. I was like, oh, oof.
mm,
I don't know, like Black Man, because like I like how they just gave Black Manta the weapon, and he had the idea to integrate
mm,
it himself. Like
mm,
that, I like that because it shows how like because one of the things I like about Black Manta, he's very big on like self-made like work and stuff. He almost feels like an evil Batman kind of
yeah,
in certain respects. He's very much like I'm a human, but I can do this underwater stuff as
mm,
good as anyone else can. So it's like it feels cool. Like what I know is a little scene where he's like tweaking the suit, and he has to dodge the blast where it kills him.
yeah,
But that was a really cool. I liked
mm,
that scene too. So like seeing how him like make his suit and how cool it looked, I was like,
yeah, yeah. So I know in the comics, this might just be a Young Justice thing, but I think it's in the comics. Aqualad is actually Black Manta's son. Is the Black Manta from this movie supposed to be him? Did they just like skip the fact that he's Aqualad, or is it like, or is
I
Aqualad's dad this guy and that guy was the previous Black Manta?
I think he's just. I mean, I think he's just the first Black Man.
Okay,
Not the first, but he's the first Black Manta this Aquaman has seen.
okay,
Like Black Manta is like a mantle passed down in the family, so it's
mm,
like, yeah, you're this Black Manta. That's just it. So Aqualad has yet to be introduced. They'll probably go with him later, but
mm,
yeah, if they do that, then having it be his son, they'll probably like off screen, they'll have a kid or something, or maybe he's
yeah,
already had one. We don't know. It's
mm,
his home life. We have no idea basically, other than
yeah,
he's lost his dad, so
mm,
he might have a kid.
yeah, and I feel like if they do the whole Legion of Doom thing, if they do go going through with that, this movie really did set up the fact that like if you don't kill your villain, he's gonna want to come back and kill you. Like
Right.
so,
Logically, and like
yeah,
he's obviously,
him joining Legion of Doom would be a nice like completion
yeah,
of that.
yeah, and obviously he's fully fueled on revenge. Because that was his purpose in the movie. So of course
Mm-hmm.
he's still gonna want something after this. So
Yeah.
that's really good, and you kind of feel his need to get even with Aquaman.
Mm, yeah. If there's any. So another thing that like another reason I kind of wish that that opening scene either wasn't as long or just wasn't even really there was because I maybe feel that it would have even been more powerful if you went the entire movie not knowing what Aquaman's mother looked like, and then once they got to the core, like she showed up and like revealed that that's his mom. I don't know if it would have been better, but potentially could have been. Does that make sense?
Yeah, something. Yeah, like more of a grand reveal than just
Yeah.
kind of mom,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. That's fair. I guess that would have added a little more suspense to that scene. I think overall would and like it wouldn't have changed the movie any, but I mean it
Because
would
like
have added a
you
little.
knew the entire movie that she wasn't dead. Like as
Yeah,
soon
because they
as like, oh,
never.
we fed her to the trench, like she's not dead. There was no
Yeah,
body
like
found. Like
yeah,
you didn't
yeah,
confirm that.
yeah. I kind of wish that she kind like I know the sound. I kind of wish she was dead because like I don't know. I don't know. Like when people like everyone assumes someone's dead, and they're like, oh, but obviously they're not. I'm like, I kind of just want them to be
Yeah,
like, yeah, we
yeah,
executed
we
her,
actually
like
got.
straight up. Like they actually, like there's more at stake, really,
Hmm.
or not even more at stake, just there's more weight to it. It just kind
Yeah.
of feels like, oh, she's gone. I'm like,
Hmm.
is she though? Like
Yeah,
you
and I
imagine, too.
and like her being alive. It's not that I didn't add anything. It just like we saw, her defeat those 5 or 6 guards at the very beginning. Then we didn't get to see her fight again because she only showed up at the very end of the battle after Aquaman already beat Orin. I would have liked to see her, do more stuff in this movie.
Yeah, she didn't do much.
Yeah. So
Yeah. Um,
is she still the queen technically, or is Aquaman just now there and she's also
I
there?
mean, yeah, I'm not, I'll be honest. I don't know how Atlantean politics work, but I mean, in terms of like actual like royalty, at least from our human perspective, I'm
Hmm.
pretty sure that if she was, since she was declared dead, that and that even though that she's
Yeah.
still technically alive, the person that was still declared king anyway is still
Hmm.
king. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
So like if the president if the president goes into a coma or something and then the vice president is inaugurated president, like
Hmm.
I don't think if the other president wakes up he's just like, okay, back to things they were. It's
Yeah.
like I think the other person's
So what
still
you're
in
telling me
charge.
is the White House down lied to me.
I mean, again, I don't know this for sure. I'm not a poli sci major. I don't really know how, but I mean, that would be my perspective. Because
Yeah.
like, if someone, you're given this power, and then you can't, theoretically, I feel like they wouldn't change it back.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
they just stick going forward with what they have. You couldn't fill in the role, so I filled for you, and we
Mhm.
assumed you gone. So, but
Yeah.
maybe White House down is right. I don't know.
Eh,
I feel like they did their research, though.
probably not.
No, no. And again, I mean, if Jamie Foxx is your president, though, I mean,
Any final thoughts?
good movie. What was I said? Like a
Like
six or
six and a
seven
half,
out of
7.
10? Yeah, like six
Yeah.
and a half or seven. Good movie, solid. Really like the action. A little disappointed. I will say, me and my best friend were both a little disappointed. The theme music played on the last trailer. It's like the dun dun,
Yeah.
and like gets bigger. Like I was really disappointed that wasn't in the actual movie because
Huh. Yeah.
honestly, I would right because that was the theme music. That I was like, okay, that was the one that got me actually like,
Hmm.
okay, maybe I should go see
Yeah.
this
Like
movie.
even during the
And
final
like,
montage of like Aquaman jumping out of the water with that still frame, it wasn't even there.
right,
Like, what's the?
right, like when he grabbed like when he got the trident, I was like, okay, this is when they're finally gonna play it,
It's
and they
kind of
did it, and I
generic
was really,
superhero music. It wasn't.
yeah,
That moment could have been so much
like.
stronger just with the music change.
Yeah.
But
And that could have been like, how like Wonder Woman has her theme in this universe, like that it's
yeah.
her that like that would have been the moment where you're like, okay, this is Aquaman.
Mhm.
So if I ever hear it again in future movies, I'm like, okay, let me get
Like,
hyped about Aquaman
like
real
I
quick.
might be a little biased, but like if someone replaced that music with the Avengers theme, instantly be like 10 times cooler.
I mean, yeah, but it still sounds really cool. Like
Yeah.
it was, I don't know, it really got me hyped. Especially
Mhm.
like the trailer, like because when he's like coming up, like I don't know, like when the music's building as he's like going up in like
Yeah.
water or stuff like that. I don't know, it really symbolically went with it. I was just like, oh, that could really
Yeah.
like that really would have worked well for that. And I feel like they missed their mark on that
Mm.
because me and my friend were both like,
Yeah.
I should have played the trailer music.
Yeah, and I kind of have the same feeling with
Um,
I think it was Guardians of the Galaxy 2. They played Fox on the Run, which I love that song, but it wasn't in the movie anywhere. It's like, why have it in the trailer if it's not in the movie? Whatever.
Yeah, I hate when trailers do it. I'm like, you'll show us stuff that's in except for Infinity War, you'll show us stuff in the trailer that's in the movie. But then you can't play songs just in the trailer and not play them.
Yeah.
Especially like the ones we're really invested in. Like
Which is
that,
why
feel like
I
that was
love
cheated.
Thor Ragnarok for playing
Mhm.
Immigrant Song twice. Like, they knew what they were doing. It worked so over that trailer they put in the movie. Like, yes.
Oh, they know, cause they
Yeah.
knew that was because they know that song's awesome and they always play it the best time.
Mhm.
I admit now looking back and like they had to play that where Thor lands in Wakanda, that would have been pretty amazing because it was just
Yeah,
like,
and
oh, we're
there's
doing.
there's
I
edits
like
on YouTube
like they
about it, but
Oh yeah, I've seen it. They're pretty good too.
Yeah,
But I mean, I don't know. You had to play the Avengers music though because it was just how big
that
that
was
moment
his
was for
moment
everybody.
for that song to play. But
Yeah, and like, and it's also he's back on Earth too, so it's like
yeah,
one of the
he's
last Avengers
essentially
has
he's
finally
an Avenger
returned.
again now that he's back on Earth, and it fit. The immigrant
Yeah,
song would work just
yeah.
fine.
Oh yeah, I mean that would have been totally fine too. Everyone's just like, "What is happening?" We're like, "I don't
I mean,
know."
in my
But Thor
opinion,
is going at.
putting immigrant song in literally any movie would make that movie 10 times better. But this is me.
Just put it in like my sister's keeper. Like, oh, this movie got so much more intense. What? She has cancer. Like, but it's such a good song.
have you have you seen that infamous trailer for A Dog's Way Home?
I think I have,
I
yeah.
know it showed, at least in my theater, it showed before both Bumblebee and
Oh,
Into the Spider
yeah, yeah,
Verse.
yeah, yeah.
That
Where
dog
the
movie
dog
that
is,
shows the entire movie.
yeah, the dog, yeah. You're kind of not invested because by the time the trailer's over, you already know how it's gonna end, so you
Yeah,
don't want to see it. Not that I was gonna see it anyway.
if that
Yeah.
trailer just played the immigrant song, I might want to go see it.
No, they would have to play more than just that for me to go see it. I'm not.
No,
This
I'm
looks
joking,
like,
of course, but like it could
oh
make
yeah,
literally
yeah,
any trailer better just playing that song.
possibly, yeah. More entice. I feel like it'd be more. It would advertise for you more
Mm,
specifically.
yeah.
It'd be like, I'm on the fence. And then that song, I'm in. When's opening night? Already has popcorn. Like,
Mhm.
oh, man.
But yeah, I think I would agree with like 6.5, 7. I
Yeah,
wouldn't go higher than a
not
7,
bad.
but still not considering DC movies, not bad.
I've been like, yeah, yeah. I mean, definitely, like, Wonder Woman obviously still up here.
Mhm.
Aquaman's like, hey, and then everything else is
Yeah,
kind
yeah,
of,
yeah. And
yeah.
this is so far this has been the only DC movie outside of Wonder Woman where like I watched it and I gave it a pretty decent score, and then like 3 days later I
Mhm.
thought about it again and was like, no, that movie was crap. BVS and
Yeah.
Suicide Squad, I both were like, 6.5, 7 maybe. Had some problems,
And
but I
then you
liked the
think,
action. And then I either rewatched it again or like thought about it just for a half second. It was like, no, 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 4, 3,
like,
keep going.
yeah, you're like, actually, this didn't make sense. Why was this done? And this didn't really make sense either. And you start like every plot point, you're like, well, why did you do this? This character was written terribly. This character shouldn't even be here. And then before you know, you got pages of notes of
Mhm.
why this movie's not great.
This
You're
part
like,
was good.
maybe
And this one bad. This bad. This bad.
like this would have been good too, except if it wasn't for this.
Yeah, so
But
I haven't done that yet. Like,
yeah,
I mean, all the stuff I said in this little review here, like that was stuff I thought walking out of the theater. I still have it at 6.5, 7. So hey,
yeah. Good job, Aquaman.
good job.
And
Another
it
movie.
hit 1 billion, so I mean,
Yeah, I don't know if it deserves a billion, but I mean, sure,
no,
why
it
not?
doesn't. But I mean, you know what? They need the money, so
Yeah, they need it. I
or at
don't think
least
I
the
don't have any hard
milestone.
numbers, but I have a feeling their streaming service isn't doing quite as well as I thought it would. I don't know.
No,
I haven't bought it yet.
especially when I want to say I'm not buying it because I found Young Justice on a different website. So
Also, it's
I
playing on
am no
Netflix outside
longer.
of the US, so if you just have a UK Netflix account, like you're good. But whatever.
I don't understand that at all, but
Yeah.
that's fine.
Well, another movie that we hope is at least a 6.5, 7. Shazam. Shazam got a
Mm,
new teaser,
true.
and if you weren't hyped for that movie before now, like that teaser just cemented why this movie is gonna be amazing. Like I have
I'm ready.
no doubt in my mind this movie is gonna be good, which is
I'm very
which is a
excited for it.
win for DC.
Yeah, I know. Like that's what I'm saying. Like I thought, like when I said earlier, like DC needs a couple movies in a row that are
Mhm.
just good quality movies, and this one looks like it's going to be a really good follow up to
Yeah.
Aquaman in terms of quality. Like, the jokes look really good.
Hmm.
I like it's like I like your finest beer. Like the very obvious technical
Uh,
the grown
like
man
he's still a
body.
kid, but he's an
You know.
adult. Like he's an adult now. Like,
Yeah, it's like you technically can't refuse him as long
yeah.
as he like theoretically. I don't like then again. I don't know if he has an
I
ID
mean,
to
if he's
use
that, if
Shazam, but I mean,
generally, from what I can tell, generally, if you look of a certain age, they don't even check ID. So
yeah, So it's like, okay, sure, go. Yeah, I mean, he looks
Mhm.
grown. He's gigantic. So yeah.
And in every trailer I've seen, like when after they beat up the bad guy, they walk out of the store with a can of with like a case of beer, and then when
Hmm.
it comes back to that, they're carrying a bunch of candy. Probably what happens is they get the beer, they both drink it, spit it out because it tastes terrible, and then go back in and buy candy.
That's probably what's gonna happen. Because yeah, especially if that's like Bud Light, they're like, yeah, this is this is trash. Let's just get what we know is great. I could see it. I could definitely see something. They're like, "Psha," and they go right back
uh,
in. Yeah, more candy. Yeah, I mean, yeah, and I mean, it's gonna be good. I like to see also they go to the realtor or whatever, and they're like, "Can you have a layer?" And she's just like,
where?
"A layer? Like what? Like yeah, off of dock or some water or something. Yeah, yeah, something for brooding or something." It's like, oh my gosh. But,
Yeah.
I'm excited about
Oh
this. It
yeah.
looks really good.
Yeah. I also really appreciate how this movie, at least the marketing for this movie, clearly isn't taking it seriously, which has been a huge
Right.
problem for every DC movie. Even Aquaman, the trailers kind of took it a little too seriously.
Well, much. Yeah.
Like in this most recent teaser, the first half of it like is showing pretty standard superhero tropes. Like he jumps off the building, says Shazam, and then which is an awesome scene, and then he like zooms off,
Yeah.
like showing him like saving that bus and like doing all these other cool superhero things, and then it's like he's not so serious, and then like jokes start
Yeah.
happening. It's like this is the tone I want from Shazam.
Yeah, because I mean, it's kind of playing off the guys. Yeah, he's a superhero, but he's still, he's still a kid. Like he's
Mm,
gonna act like a kid, and I think that's what the movie's kind of using that to his advantage, so that they don't have to be over the top with dark,
mm,
broody moments. Like it doesn't matter really what happens. He's still a kid, so they're
yeah.
gonna do kitty stuff.
Mm. I love how we got more like a better look at the villain of this movie. I don't know anything about him, but apparently he also has lightning in flight. So cool.
Yeah,
I'm always down for mono fight. So go for it.
right. No, yeah,
Which
bring it on. I mean,
which like is gonna be interesting if Shazam 2 also has a similar thing in Black Lightning, which no, oh, yeah, or Black Adam. Sorry, Black Adam, who
uh,
I thought would show up in this movie, but this guy seems to fill that role. But we'll see.
yeah, I mean, yeah, because I remember they were talking about Black Adam because like Dwayne Johnson or whatever was supposed to be Black Adam, right?
He's apparently been cast as Black Adam in a DC movie since like 2009.
Right? But like, at this point, like obviously he's still making plenty of movies and like he's
Mm.
not, hanging on to the
He made
signing.
three
But it's
movies
also
this
like,
year wearing the same outfits, so I think he's
yeah,
fine.
yeah, I think obviously he doesn't have anything. I mean, he's even got a TV show like
Right.
Titans or something like that.
The Titan
Yeah,
games.
I mean, yeah, that show was actually pretty intense. From what I saw, it was kind of cool. But no, he's doing that. He's got movies going on. Like, he's fine. But
Yeah.
I was a little thrown off. I was like, wait, where's Black Adam? 'Cause I was expecting him to see him.
Mhm.
But, I mean, I'm not like mad or anything. I'm like, oh, okay, I guess we're doing something else. I'm like,
I mean,
sure,
I definitely
another,
wouldn't. I
because,
wouldn't mind learning about new comic book characters for these movies. So sure, go for
right,
it.
yeah, because I mean, like, personally, I don't know anyone else in Shazam's rogue gallery aside from Black Adam. So,
No.
yeah, I'd be fine finding a new one.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm pretty excited. Like clearly, I was always planning on seeing it if I found time in
Hmm.
between Captain Marvel and Endgame. But like now, I am pretty set. Like I'm gonna go out of my way to see this if I possibly can. So good job.
Yeah, probably like that weekend or maybe the week of if I can. 'Cause
Mm,
I want to have enough time to separate hype for Endgame, but at the
yeah.
same time, it's like I do want to see this. I don't want it to get completely
Mm,
blocked out from Avengers.
yeah.
Get to Avengers, but or nights
In
will
the
happen. I don't
the
know.
theater here, where I saw Aquaman, I can't remember like the order of trailers they showed, but the first two, because the theater in Boone they play like five trailers before the movies, and it's a little ridiculous, but whatever. Um, the first two, I don't remember what they were, and then the second to last one was a trailer for The Kid Who Would Be King, which looks like a terrible movie.
It does. It really does.
They
Like I
have
was not
Sir
invested
Patrick
at all.
Stewart technically playing Merlin, but he's actually just disguised as this like teenage boy for some reason through most of the movie. I'm like, you have the perfect Merlin cast, yet he's not Merlin for most. Like, what? Why? Why? What is wrong with you? What?
I don't know. It looks very unfortunate
Anyway,
to say the least. I'm not, you know,
not
I'm just like, oof.
yeah. After like right after that trailer went off, I the one right before that was Detective Pikachu, which again I'm very excited for that. Anyway,
Mm, hmm
uh, I turned to my friend. I was like, after the Kid Who Would Be King show, I was like, yeah, no, just no. And then the like
No.
Marvel credits started rolling. It's like, oh yeah,
It's like, yes. What movie is this for? Yes.
give me now.
I was like, I don't know, but I'm gonna see it twice at least.
But yeah, I really hope Shazam does well. I don't think it'll do as well as Aquaman did since it's kind of sandwiched in between two bigger movies.
Yeah,
But
I feel like if outside, if it wasn't in that gap, it would do better than
yeah,
Aquaman, though.
eh, we'll
But
see. Hopefully, it's like 3 weeks removed from either side of those two Marvel movies, so maybe within that 3 weeks, it'll it'll get a big enough buzz to do at least 700 mil. I think they'd be satisfied with that.
possibly.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Another movie I am extremely excited about. John Wick 3 recently got a trailer, and whew, okay. John Wick, the
Let's
first one,
just
is
wonder.
legitimately one
Oh,
of my
go
favorite
ahead.
movies of all time. So,
Hmm.
and the second one's also pretty good. So, this trailer is just more the same, and it's amazing.
Like I say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
Just keep having John Wick do John Wick stuff, and we'll keep eating it up. It's
Mhm.
amazing.
Yeah, like unfortunately, if you hadn't seen John Wick 2, this movie is like this trailer spoiled the ending a little bit, but
I'll be
still
all right.
like do you care about if I like essentially spoil the
Good,
ending? It's
good,
like okay.
good.
Um Essentially at the end, John Wick does something, I don't remember exactly what, and gets like ostracized from his assassin organization, and because he's John Wick, he was allowed like a certain amount of time to prepare for what's to happen to him. So
Mm.
so he the end of the movie is him just like running off like from the organizations away from everything. And essentially this movie is gonna be like everyone in the city going after him.
Right.
So
John Wick versus the world, and
yeah,
John Wick's like, you guys aren't
you
ready.
guys aren't ready. I rewatched me and my roommate rewatched John Wick last night, and just I feel John Wick has the perfect setup and motivation of for like the best setup and motivation for any character I've ever seen, honestly. Because you know his backstory in just a couple of minutes. His wife died. You know,
Mhm.
you know, like you kind of get a sense of he has like a shady backstory. We're not entirely sure like what he did before now, but you know he got out, has a wife. She died. She gave him a puppy. The puppy is the most adorable puppy in any movie ever.
And then the puppy. Oh my god, that
Oh,
made me mad, low key. Like I'm not even a big
I
animal person, but I was like, yo, the line.
yeah, and then you know the idiot also steals his car, and then the John Leguizamo's character like calls the mob boss dude and was like, and he was like, "I heard you punched my son." Like, yeah, well he stole a man's car. Like, whose car did he steal? John Wick. Oh, hang up. Just oh. It's like,
Just like, let me get back to you on that. Doesn't get back to him. Bye.
and like he tells his son just the story about him killing 3 men with a pencil, and just and it's like, oh, okay, I messed up. I'm sorry. The movie just goes from there. Like whenever you see
Mhm.
this man kill people, it's cathartic. It is amazing. Just
It's
Oh,
It's so creative because it's
yeah.
like no, it feels like nobody dies the same way. And nobody's killed all these people, but it's
Hmm.
like one guy gets shot, the other guy gets hit in the face with the gun that shot someone else, the other
Right.
guy gets hit with the body of the person that got hit with the gun from the gun that shot the other. Like it builds off itself, but it's like
Hmm.
each individual person gets their individual butt whooping. Like it's
Yeah.
crazy.
Uh,
Like oh
and this newest trailer of him like going through that crowd, like shooting people, and then like throwing the gun at one guy and tackling the other guy. He just
yeah. It's like, oh, it's just, I mean, it's just more. The movie is doing has the best thing about John Wick is that it has, just like I said, like creative action and
Mhm.
violence, and they're just making it more and more creative, and that's what we love.
Yeah.
And it's like, yes, I will see this. This is amazing. Brutal, but amazing.
Now you got Halle Berry in it, and she's been good in pretty much everything outside of
Always.
Catwoman. So
I mean, Holly Berry is almost always a win. Almost.
so yeah, I think this movie is gonna be even more action packed, just even more intense. Like it's gonna be good.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'd be hard pressed to to see anyone else argue if this movie is as good as at least the second one, which is I wouldn't say it is as good as the first one, but still pretty good. If it's at least as good as
Mm-hmm.
that, I would be hard pressed to see anyone try to argue like any trilogy of action movies being better than this one because like of like straight up like this style of action movie at least.
Okay.
Like
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. Like, it's really, I don't know. It's just like, it's very good if you're in, like most people obviously are into action movies. So it's like,
mm,
if you're down with this kind of action, it's like, you love it. You'll eat it right
yeah,
up. That's the thing,
yeah.
because like, the story's good. It's just kind of simple. So it's just,
I,
but I mean, you don't go for, right. But, that's not a problem when you're here for the act. Like, it's like,
mm,
oh, like, it's like,
like
dude, they killed his dog.
this
Obviously, he's
man,
mad.
he
Like,
isn't. It's not that they killed his wife. It's not that they wronged him in some way like years ago and he's just now getting revenge. He killed like this idiot killed his dog and stole his car. That's enough for him to go
and
kill
yeah,
everybody.
and he just goes and just no one to save. And it's so like, like real, like halfway through the movie, you're thinking, is he really gonna do all this because of the dog?
Yeah.
It's like it's not just the dog; it's also the car. And you're like,
Right.
continue. It's like it's so
Mm,
simple, but it's just I don't know. It's just intense violence and very creative, and it's just really satisfying to watch.
yeah. Yeah.
Because John Wick's got a weapon of any kind, including a pencil. It's over,
Like in the John Wick 3 trailer where he like shoved a booking up some guy's mouth and like hammered it in. It's like I want more of this.
this is brutal too. Like it was like even stuff that you wouldn't consider like dangerous becomes very dangerous. You're just like, oh, that's lethal. I forgot about those. I should have watched out for the paper clips. John Wick can stab you with paper clips, like
Mhm.
it's just I don't know. I love John Wick.
Oh yeah. I when we made um that video that top 10 most anticipated things a couple weeks ago, I was like kind of considering putting this in the top 10, but this year is so great, I just couldn't quite fit
Yeah,
it
there's
into
a lot
like
going on.
this trailer. It's close. It's up there.
Right. It's definitely raised the bar of like priority. It's definitely an honorable mention now, but like
Mhm.
it's still like there's just a lot of movies coming out this year. So it's like I mean John Wick's great, but it's like I'm not like super if the storyline had me as grabbed as the action, I'd probably be
Mhm.
just as invested.
Okay, that's fair.
But it's kind of like, it doesn't really, what's happening? Oh, it's John Wick versus everybody. Wasn't it the last movie? Yep. And the movie before that? Uh-huh.
And
So it's just more of the same. Yep. Okay, let's go. It's like it's the same thing, just they're doing it again, which is fine. That's
Mhm.
not going to get old till like the sixth movie. But I mean,
Yeah.
at the same time, it's like I'm not as invested because with like Avengers or something, I'm invested in the story. I have to know how
Mhm.
it goes or like that. But like this movie is just kind of like all right, let's beat the crap out of more people. Like, sure.
Sure.
Like,
Go for
yeah,
it.
like again, not complaining by any means, but still, it's just like I'm not as invested as like other
Yeah.
movies.
I want to say it's coming out in May, but I'm not sure. You want to check that real quick?
Yes, I'm on it. Too far. Where'd it go? I actually had the trailer pulled up, so I think I can just find it on the. Oh God, that's so brutal. It says, "Come on, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up." Oh God, May 17th. Yes,
Okay,
May.
cool. Oh,
So it's like right in that like.
I think that's a week after Take a Pikachu. So,
Yeah.
okay.
Right, dude. There's gonna be a lot of movies right in that area, like that April to May. Well, even March to May, honestly. Like,
Yeah.
it's gonna be a lot. I mean, that's the movie gap now. I don't know what it is, but that's the movie gap. Like,
Yeah. Like this past year, nothing really came out in November, which is weird. Outside of Creed 2, but
right?
yeah,
Yeah, Creed 2 and like Wreck-It
Robin,
Ralph 2. But
Robin
like,
Hood, but none of the Creed 2
yeah,
was good, but like the other stuff around it wasn't amazing.
that was
So
good. Yeah,
yeah.
I
Oh
don't
well.
know. It's just I don't know, but yeah. But this year movie wise, it's over, man.
Let's see what Disney is up to now. So speaking of huge trailers that dropped recently, that Spider-Man Far From Home trailer.
Mm. Mm. Shall we? Do we want me to go over?
Go for it.
Okay. Oh, okay. So this trailer is really cool. I like it. I even like the beginning. Like I kind of like how like Aunt May is using Spider-Man to like endorse stuff.
Uh-huh.
I feel like they're kind of using the knowing his secret identity in stride instead of no, you should be safe. I don't want Spider-Man. She's like, oh well, you're doing it anyway. You got powers. Let's go. We're gonna milk this.
I could even
Fine.
see her being like, "I'll allow you to do this as long as you help my charities," because as like a punishment type thing.
Yeah.
Like he's grounded,
yeah.
so he has to help her.
Yeah, you have to make appearances here and there, just to beat the doors. Like, oh, if you don't do that, no Spider-Man for a week if you don't come.
Come on.
Mom! Mom, the Green Goblin's blowing up buildings. Well, you should have thought about that before you didn't go to my charity event. Very... Oh man, but no, I like that idea. I think the happy interaction was very like funny, awkward. Also, it's like,
Yeah,
hey,
because like we heard beforehand that they
like,
might have a relationship, but seeing it in motion,
yeah, I was like, oh
like
gosh,
I like it.
he's just he's so like what is like he's so not on board. Yeah, I like the idea that it's a summer. It's obviously coming out in summer, so they're also on vacation. I love that.
Yeah.
They're going to Europe. Some kids that have money that aren't me do. They go to Europe, and I also like the idea that he doesn't bring the costume with him because he's kind of like, you know what? I just want to be Peter for a little bit. I don't want to just be Spider. Because a lot of times it's like, oh man, being Peter sucks. I want to go be Spider-Man all the time. Well, now here you're saying kind of more of the opposite. He's kind of like,
although in the international trailer, the opening was May sending a suitcase with a suit to him.
Yeah, so. I saw that too. Oh, don't forget this glove, man. He's like, like customs like, no bananas. Oh yeah, no bananas. Ooh, like, thank goodness you didn't see my top secret of Spider-Man suit. But yeah. Also, I like how they're gonna add MJ a lot more into this. I like how they're gonna explore her character more. She seems like she's gonna be a good character.
Yeah.
She's like funny, but like almost like awkward funny. He's like, oh, so I'm pretty. So you're like, oh, like bro, no, it's cool.
It's like that right there is like worst case scenario response from anything. If you talk to someone.
Yeah, you're just like, there is no way I can, because if you're like yes, then you're like you're terrible. But if you're like no, like so I don't have value. You're just like,
I don't know what to say to
that. Like you can't. It's like I can't. There is no right answer to this question, basically. But I think that was cool. I also I like the Nick Fury showing up and that ain't Spider-Man. He's just like, what? Like, obviously, Nick Fury's back, and he's he's interested to see these new Avengers and characters. And like it is kind of true, he hasn't really gotten with Spider-Man for, he hasn't had the opportunity, I guess.
And he was just
So
knighted as
that's kind of
Avenger
cool.
in Infinity War, so
Yeah, so
he
it's
hasn't
like,
been
okay,
Avenger
now
for very long.
he's my business, and therefore he's like, okay, you're a vendor, you're my business now, so I need to know
Yeah.
everything about you and stuff. And like, yeah, that's cool because I want to see him do stuff. I assume that's where he gets the like updated suit from,
Mm,
like Fury, and then they probably just modify Stark's suit a little bit.
yeah.
I do like. I think I said this earlier, but like I like how Mysterio looks. I'm okay. So like I know we saw like supposedly like Sandman and Hydra Man. It looked like I don't know if those are like actually
It's
them or like
so those characters are like a group in the comics called the Elementals. I think they're a Captain Marvel villain group. It's Magnum, Hydron, which will be changed to Hydro Man in the movie because he's a much more well-known villain. Magnum is
right.
the yeah, Magnum is the rock one, which might be Sandman, might be Magnum. We don't know. We know Hydron,
Mm,
Hydro Man, Molten Man, the fire one, and Zephyr, which would be a wind one. Um, so and we know that it's Hydro Man, not Hydron, because in one shot the a boat went by with like ASM whatever, like 128 or whatever the first introduction of Hydro Man was. It was like inscribed on that boat,
mm.
so a reference to
And
Hydro
then
Man.
experiment. Okay. Okay. So yeah, okay, that's what I thought. I wasn't totally sure, but I was
Mm,
like, okay, I know Hydra because he's like a lesser known Spider-Man villain, but still a good one.
yeah. Um, my theory is that because apparently Nick Fury like actually uh like picked up Mysterio, like as was like partnered up with him. So Mysterio could like because he's like selling himself as a superhero. My theory is that he's essentially like creating these illusions of these elementals so that he can look good to
Hmm.
sway the public in his favor, and he'll end up actually
Yeah.
being a bad
Okay.
guy.
Okay, I could see something like that happening, and then like Spider-Man has to like either expose him as a bad guy or
Mm.
like as he becomes a bad guy, Spider-Man like okay, make
Yeah,
step
because
up.
I feel like they're going to be working like closely together throughout most of it. Then at the end, Spider Man's going to realize, oh wait, you're a bad guy, and then they'll fight at the end. So
Yeah. Okay, I could definitely see that happening.
recruit. Why can I not
Okay,
think the word
yeah.
recruit? Whatever. Nick Fury
It just
recruited him.
word blocks, dude. Word blocks come at you like that sometimes. You're just
Mm,
like, I have no idea what's going on. But
mm,
no, I'm with you on that one. Let me think. Other than that, yeah, I mean, I'm kind of warming up to the suit. I like that, I like I said kind of earlier, like I wish there was a little more white to balance it out, the black
mm.
and red, but the black and red still does look cool.
Yeah.
Just I don't know, like I am interested to see. Like I know, like in the trailer, when they talked about like, oh, he's a mix of Iron Man and Thor. They kind of didn't show Peter's face to see like his reactions to
Mm.
stuff like that because he might be like, don't talk about that, like very emotional because we don't know how that's gonna end up.
We
But
don't know. We
and
have no idea.
that's what I'm saying. We just don't know. They're so secretive about this dude. Like it's almost the
Because
point they're too
also
good.
he doesn't have the Iron Spider suit anymore. So
Right.
my theory as of right now is that through either like this is either a different dimension or like something with timey wimey mumbo jumbo happened and Spider-Man never got that suit and it's I don't know.
But he would still be an Avenger,
Yeah,
theoretically, if Fury was coming after him.
yeah.
Or
And
what? I mean, not necessarily though. But I
but at
mean,
the same time, if maybe the reason why he doesn't want to be Spider-Man on this trip is because he's had enough for now. He wants to take a break after whatever happens in
yeah,
Endgame.
yeah, especially a vacate. Well, taking a vacation from this.
Dying. If he
Yeah,
remembers that.
basically, yeah, yeah. Him and everyone seeing everyone else just literally fade to dust. So he's
Mm,
probably like, maybe we should just take a step or two back
yeah.
from all this. So yeah, maybe that's kind of what's going on. So yeah, I could
So,
definitely see something like that happen.
or
But
yeah, well, so yeah, well,
but there's Yeah,
We'll
we
see.
can't. We still can't know. There's still two movies to see before this, so we
Mm,
got to know what's happening.
yeah,
But
like clearly Nick Fury is here, but
right,
like theoretically, this movie could even take place like before Infinity War. I don't think it does. I think it's been confirmed to take place in 2019, but it easily could. Marvel's been secretive like that before.
yeah, I don't know. I feel kind of. I'd be kind of disappointed if it was after Endgame though, because like, or
If it
after.
wasn't after, or
If it wasn't, yeah, if it was before Infinity War, I'd feel kind of disappointed and kind of
yeah,
cheated out because, like, this is we have to wait till literally next year to see a movie after the events.
mm,
And that'd be I feel like I'd be disappointed for that because, like, I want to
yeah,
know the immediate effects of what's going on.
mm, yeah. No. Well, we'll figure all that out in a few months. There's no point in speculating.
Theoretically.
Some people are like upset that Disney even released this trailer. They feel they should have waited until after Endgame, which would have been too late to start
Eh,
marketing this movie. Like
I
Spider Man's a
mean,
big name, but you've got to start at least 6 months ahead of
yeah, I
movies
mean
like this.
that's just how movies work.
Yeah,
But
and they didn't even really reveal anything other than that Nick Fury is still alive, which we already knew.
because Spider-Man's still alive, so like
Yeah, Spider Man being alive kind of
obviously they fixed something because
yeah.
Spider-Man's back, everyone else can be back
Something
too.
happened and he is still here. Like whatever
Right.
that means. Yeah. So, but one more thing, I am really so happy that they kept Mysterio's fishbowl head because I wasn't sure if they would because that's a ridiculous costume. I was thinking in order to movieize it they wouldn't keep that part of his costume, but I'm so glad they did, and it looks just
Yeah,
ridiculous as it should.
yeah, and I mean, in the comics, that's like part of how he's able to do like optical illusions and stuff like that too.
Yeah.
It's like some kind of like light refractions off
Mm-hmm.
his helmet or something. But yeah, so I think yeah, it is a part of his costume, and it makes him look recognizable too. 'Cause,
Yeah.
without the helmet, I wouldn't know who he was probably. So,
No. Yeah. Yeah.
Spo.
I am very excited for this
It's gonna
movie.
be a great movie.
Now,
Spider-Man.
in this week's segment of Why Are They Making This?
I love this segment so much.
Disney is apparently making a live action version of Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Okay, okay. I will admit this.
Mm-hmm.
I've been complaining about why is Disney making remakes of stuff that's like really, really beloved stuff
Mm-hmm.
that's been recent. So like this movie, although it is also kind of famous, it's not as notable as like obviously The Lion King or
Yeah,
The Little Mermaid. So that kind of is a step in the right direction. So I'm not
but
completely off board with this.
it's still not even 20 years old yet. It's still late
Yeah,
90s.
yeah, but I mean, I think it's kind of a good story. I feel like the way kind of society's working now, I feel like it's gonna fit in well with like, but don't let society tell you what's right and wrong about who
Yeah.
you are. He's a deformity in a time where it's not really
Mm.
accepted, all this stuff. I'm like, oh, it's 2019, help people or, whenever this movie comes out.
Mm.
But I think it'll work. And also I do kind of like the story of Hunchback of Notre
But
Dame,
yeah,
so
like
I'm not totally
Hunchback
against it.
is like top three Disney movies for me. It is really good. I just really hope that Quasimodo isn't CG the whole time. I could easily see them doing something like that.
That would get annoying. I know, but then again, how would you? Well, not necessarily. I
Practical
mean, I feel like
effects.
they could do it.
You
That's
could
what I'm
do it.
saying. But like, I feel like they could do it. I feel like they could do it well though,
I
because
mean, they're
like we've
Disney,
seen
so it
some
would
good
look fine,
CG.
but like
That's what I'm
you
saying.
just, I mean, practical effects are there for a reason. I
Yeah, but I mean,
maybe whoever they would pick to play Quasimodo wouldn't like to do it, and if that's the case, then you can do CG.
possibly,
But
yeah.
I don't know. I just don't want it to be distracting. If they could do it with something like the Iron Man suit, where I didn't know for the longest time that it was CG, like that'd be fine. But I don't want it to be distractingly CG like the Beast is from Being the Beast. Like
Yeah, that's
I
fair.
never really felt like the Beast was actually there.
Yeah,
I hope it looks a
yeah,
little
but
more
I mean, then
tangible than that.
again, like I mean, yeah, but I think it's like okay, like it's the beast. Like you can't, they didn't get a real monster, obviously.
I mean, they were originally going to do
I get what
practical
you're saying.
effects. They were originally going to put him like in a beast costume, but they decided last minute to do CG.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, there's still time depending on how they do it. I don't making it CG wouldn't ruin it for me.
Mm.
I'd be okay with it just because it's that kind of character that has
Mm.
some kind of abstract look to it, so it's
Yeah.
acceptable in my eyes.
And also, Hunchback is one of my favorites because of just how it's animated. Like that Hellfire sequence is
Mm.
phenomenal. Just everyone is just so expressive, so energetic, and it's just one of like probably, in my opinion, the most beautiful of the Disney Renaissance era movies. I just don't want any of that to be lost in the live action translation, but we'll see. I guess I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Any news on like casting or anything like that? Yeah, or is it too
I
soon to tell?
think Josh Gad was kind of rumored to play Quasimodo, which that could
Hmm.
work. Um, he definitely has like a kind of similar voice that could easily translate to a Quasimodo type character. So I think that's so far that's the only thing that's been like thrown out there. I don't even know if that was like actually confirmed. It was just a rumor.
Okay, yeah, but then and like is that like what is this like 2020 maybe or like
Since it was just announced, probably 2021. I don't know.
yeah. Yeah, but yeah, down the road because they've got a bunch of other live action products they're still working on. Like
Yeah,
Lion King hasn't dropped yet. Like they've got some time, and
mm,
Little Mermaid's supposed to come out before then
at
too,
some
so that
point.
might be yeah.
I think they're still remaking Mulan, which might come out next year.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I almost forgot about that.
that we don't
They're
remember that.
killing this live action. Like, I'm telling you what, man. I'm telling you, Kingdom Hearts 3 the movie or Kingdom Hearts the movie. That's what they're doing this for. I'm telling you, it's not gonna happen, but it should. It'll come out in 30 years, but it'll be great when it does. We'll be old and have kids, but it'll be great when it comes out.
It'll all be worth it, I guess.
Oh, dude, it'd be amazing.
Mm.
If
I
only.
mean, Haley Joel Osment could just play Sora. Just go for it.
I mean, in real life, it'll be great. Like, I'd be fine. I'd be fine with it. Like, I know other people be like, "Why is this grown, man, old grown but man doing this?" But I mean, you know what? If he still sounds like it, he's still Sora to me because the voice is iconic. I don't know. The Kingdom Hearts. I don't know. It's still weird listening to. I know he's grown up, but it's still listening like in the Kingdom Hearts 3 trailers, like listening to his voice because I'm so used to the Kingdom Hearts 2 voice. It's like,
Mm.
oh, he sounds so different.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's been 13 years.
I don't know. Like I don't know, like obviously, like he's trying to age it up too, because I mean, because the Kingdom Hearts 2 Sora sounds like Kingdom Hearts 1 Sora, so like obviously he's gonna sound different in
Mm.
this one too. But it's also just I'm just so used to that voice, so it's like I have to adjust a little bit. But
Mm.
it's not bad by me. It's just obviously the same person.
Yeah. So, another nerd news. To the surprise of no one, EA has canceled another Star Wars game.
Way to go, EA.
This was that game that was being developed by Visceral Games, which is the studio who made Dead Space that uh, got EA fired everyone from like last October or something. Um, it was originally made by them, but that studio got shut down, so it was moved to EA Vancouver, and now that game is just gone for some reason.
Guys,
Years of
just
work, just gone for no reason. And actually, this game, I think it was actually like a, I think this was also the open world game that that like the lady who used to work on Uncharted was working on before she left EA.
hmm.
Um, but because she saw the writing on the wall, and didn't want to do this anymore. Then it got moved
Yeah,
to
she's like
Visceral.
yeah.
Then they got moved to Vancouver, and now it's gone. It's like at least 3 years of work just for nothing. But it's okay
Down the drain.
because there's another Star Wars game in the works over there at EA Vancouver. So, yay!
Yay!
Why?
hesitant
Why
celebration.
do you? Is
Like,
that supposed to ease the blow of you canceling a Star Wars game to announce another Star Wars game's in the works? We don't care. You're gonna cancel that one too.
or it's just gonna be bad. Like either way, I'd rather not have it. But if it's just gonna be bad, it's like, well then.
Like at this
But
point, how are we? We're gonna be 4 years into the Star Wars reemergence, and they've only made two Star Wars games.
uh,
How?
they're both terrible.
How? How?
Because they're just not. I mean, I don't know. I think they just. I don't know if they're just underestimating the value, how valued a good Star Wars game would be, or just I don't know. They
But
just don't. I don't know. They just don't care.
but it doesn't. I mean, I want these Star Wars games to be good, but like they don't need to be the best games ever as long as they're just Star Wars games set in the Star Wars universe. That's all fans care about. If you just made a Darth Maul
Right.
game, which was actually made for actually
Oof,
in development for a while, but they canceled, or make like a Boba Fett
surprise.
game, people would freak out over, or new Knights of the Old Republic since you own BioWare.
Like there's no helping these people. I don't understand. But they don't care. They just want money, even though the things that
You
would give
can't
them
make
our money they
money.
don't do.
Yeah, you can't make money on games you don't make. They're losing
Exactly.
money.
I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. I guess I don't know, man. Like, because the gaming industry is, the gaming industry is still doing really high stuff. So it's like if you put out quality stuff, people are gonna want it. You can't
Yeah.
put out these crap games and be like, oh, people just must not be into Star Wars games. Like, no, we just don't like bad ones. We
Hmm.
like good Star Wars games. Like, it's not Star Wars isn't the problem. It's the
Hmm.
quality of the games are is the problem.
Yeah, like at this point, Jedi Fallen Order, which was announced last E3, with just like a logo showing off, nothing else since then. We don't even know if that game's gonna come out. It's supposed to come out this year. What? Like we haven't heard anything from it, which is weird from an EA game. Like usually they have games well into
No,
like Mass Effect Andromeda was being teased forever. Yeah, that eventually came out, was terrible, but still, like
yeah.
this game just supposed to come out this year. I've heard nothing about it. Maybe
They're
we'll get like
probably deciding whether or not to keep it on or not.
a
Honestly, that's probably what it is. That's why we haven't heard much about it.
like if if any developer, if any other developer had the rights to make exclusive rights to make Star Wars games, why not devote like half of your teams to just make Star Wars games? Like
Because, I mean,
EA has the teams, they have the people. They're like they're I think the first or second biggest third party developer studio in the on the world right now.
mm,
Why not have teams dedicated to making Star Wars games at least one a year? You know, competent teams to make these games.
yeah, actual good game. I don't know. I don't know if they're just underestimating how valuable that could be, or they just don't care. I don't know, but it's just like, why even have all the rights to it if you're not going to utilize
I
it?
don't I don't know. Like Disney, just I don't care what kind of ironclad contract you have. You're Disney. You have lawyers to get out of this. Give it to someone else. Allow other people to make Star Wars games. Don't do this stupid exclusive rights to Star Wars games.
Yeah,
Just
just hold on to it and then just monopolize it to the point where no one else can use it, but not even use it yourself. Just
yeah.
have it all the rights and just sit
Hmm.
on them. Like, that's so. There are
Like
like apps or you keep the rights.
yeah, like Ubisoft could easily make some RPGs or open world Star Wars games. Activision could keep making
Hmm.
Battlefront. Like there are so many other possibilities, and even with any EA, theoretically EA like should be the perfect developer to make Star Wars games, but they just
But they're
don't know how
not.
to make them.
They're not. I don't know. EA with game making has not been on point lately. That's just how it is.
I mean,
Like,
they haven't been on
I
point
don't
for
know.
better part of 20 years, but that's just me.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like, I mean, it's just like, so it's not that I expect better. It's just
Mhm.
like, you
But
know,
like even something as simple as Star Wars Madden, I think would be insane. Like just like Madden, but with like
like
stormtroopers versus
starting
rebels.
with. I mean, that'd be weird, but I'd be down. I like Madden. I love Star Wars. I'd make it. Well,
Like,
I guess
you
I
have the
could go
exclusive
for it for a
rights to
little
make
bit.
Star Wars games. Why not just throw Star Wars into
Make a Star
everything you
Wars
possibly can and
team.
see what sticks?
You might as well, yeah. I mean, honestly, I think it's people. Yeah, you just have like Darth Vader or like troopers or as a team or like
Hmm.
uniforms at least, like something like that, something
Yeah.
cool. But oh man, if only it was that. I don't know, man. I just like if like the consumers, we have all these great, we have ideas where we're like, okay, man, like how to improve the games they have, or like you have games in the past, Star Wars
Hmm.
games that are like, hey, these games are great. Why don't we just build onto that? You don't have to change all the game. Just make it the same thing. Just like I know you don't have the same companies and stuff like obviously pandemic and stuff like that are still around, but like you could still borrow ideas from
Hmm.
them because I mean you can't it's like I don't even know if plagiarism is the right word for it, but like it's still you have the rights to it. You can do whatever you want.
Hmm.
So just try
They
to copy the games of the past.
they used to own the developers who developed the first two Battlefront games, and they sacked the studio for no reason.
Could have made that Battlefront 3 game that we all asked for but never got.
And Visceral could have made a pretty sick, like, horror based Star Wars game. But nope, that studio also got sacked for no reason.
That would have been kind of crazy or something
Yeah.
like that.
Like, there are many, many different, like creepy aliens that could, get onto
Oh
a ship,
yeah.
basically Dead Space, but with Star Wars. Like, it's right there for you, but nope.
Just have like different types of like monster, like go to planets and like have to
Yeah.
like salvage, like rescue, like do rescue ops against like different monsters. Oof,
Mm-hmm. Or like
that
bounty
could
hunters
get
could
rough.
attack and defend your ship from bounty hunters. Like,
Yeah,
there are
but
so many possibilities. You're just not taking advantage of. I don't understand.
they're not trying. I don't know, man. It is a unfortunate reality to say the least. But
Yep. I just, uh, I just want like, I just want Star Wars to be. I just want something new in Star Wars media in general to show that Star Wars is really back. Because Force Awakens happened, that was huge, and
mhm.
people were kind of mixed on Rogue One. People were you know, were not too happy about Battlefront or Battlefront Two. Where people were mixed on Last Jedi, people were kind of meh on Solo. Rebels is there. Resistance, I haven't heard bad things, but I haven't really heard anything about it. It's I don't know. I just want some form of Star Wars media. Hopefully, Episode 9 is this, but like I want some Star Wars media again that like really shows that hey, Star Wars is it's here to stay in this new era of entertainment, and like it can be as permeating as it was back in the 90s and 2000s.
Mhm.
Because Disney just didn't really think ahead when when making this deal with EA. They're like, hey, what developer is big in the gaming sphere? EA, yeah, they make games. Just give it to them.
Here,
Have all of
yeah,
it.
here, but here, do games.
It's
It's
not
just
here.
like
Have the rights to
okay,
make Battlefront. No, it's have the right to make Star Wars. They made two games. Okay, whatever, whatever.
it's okay. There are other games. It's okay.
Yeah. Speaking of other games, there
Huh?
will be a Power Rangers fighting game called Power Rangers Battle for the Grid, released this April.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay. Is it like a beat 'em up style?
it's a fighting game. Like,
Oh, like a straight up fighting game.
yeah, it's
Oh,
releasing the
okay.
same month as Mortal Kombat 11, but hey, it's still as Power Rangers, so it has the name branding. I, I, I think it's cool
Really,
concept.
Power Rangers fighting game. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Wait. Who is making this game?
No, I didn't write that down. I'm not sure.
Oh,
Um,
fine, fine.
yeah,
But
I
no,
don't, I
I
don't
mean
think
this.
it's
Okay,
anyone
this
like.
kind of. I would say it like came out of this is like kind of out of nowhere, right?
Yeah,
Like just all right, Power Rangers fighting go. I mean, sure,
sure.
I don't care. Like if it works, it's cool. Like Power Rangers are kind of cool. Fighting
Mhm.
games are also cool. So I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah. Like they, if they have like super moves, they could bring their Zord in and like stomp on you. Like,
yeah, my like some kind of like Mighty Morph or some I don't know what
mm,
Dino Beast. There's a bunch of different Power Rangers
yeah.
stuff.
There are many different eras you can pull from. Like it just
Exactly.
sure.
You have like a that'd be kind of cool actually. Yeah, oh sure, why not?
I think I think Battle for the Grid is like a is either the name of or like a reference tie-in to a recent Power Rangers comic that came out. So I was trying to think like where had I heard that Battle for the Grid tagline before.
Hmm.
I think it's a tie-in to that comic. So I don't know anything about that comic, but like if Power Rangers is still relevant in the comic sphere, then hey, try to tie in stuff with games. Go for it. I don't care if it's good. Sure. I just hope it doesn't get buried by Mortal Kombat, which it probably will. But eh. Speaking of Mortal Kombat, um, there's apparently going to be a Mortal Kombat animated movie in the works.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
Uh,
yeah.
there's nothing more than just it being announced, or maybe even rumored. I'm not sure if it was actually like officially announced, but at least rumored. And
Mhm.
I'm probably gonna say this for like most animated movies from here on out, but I would love to see Mortal Kombat in the style of Into the Spider Verse. I think that would just be phenomenal.
I mean, that would be amazing. I don't know if they do that just because I don't know one if they, that they have the ability to. Like,
Mm,
not that it's impossible, but like I don't know. I feel like that's kind of the way they did it in that like comic book style. I don't know
yeah.
how easy that would be to replicate. So
Mm-hmm. But I
yeah, but
mean,
that would be
if
it'd
even
be
it's like
jaw dropping.
CG, uh, if it like that, I know there are some companies that are good at like kind of photorealistic CG type stuff. So like, if you get one of them to do it and make it look pretty similar to the games, sure, why not?
Yeah, I mean that'd be kind of cool. Get good movie. Yeah, because I mean they have like movies now, like kind of older ones that are something.
Mm,
So yeah, I think it'd be
right.
good to kind of like yeah bring Mortal Kombat back into more of the more like into like the more movie aspect. But I think keeping it looking the same ish, or
Mm,
at least in the same kind of medium with animation, I think that's a smarter move than just
yeah.
flopping real characters or real people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that probably won't come out until at least 2020 or later, but I'll be on the
Hmm.
lookout for it. Also, a rated M, or sorry, a rated R, CG movie could actually be kind of funny. Should like to watch. I don't
Yeah,
know. We'll see.
casually rip
I haven't
someone
seen
to
many of
yeah,
those.
it'd be more yeah. It'd be interesting. Yeah, but I'd be interested though to see. It'd be pretty, graphic because it is Mortal Kombat and
Yeah,
it's rated R. Like, let's do some damage. Like,
yeah. Like hopefully, like some major studio wouldn't want to like get too involved in this and try to make it like actually Wonder. I think Warner Brothers would probably want to do it since
yeah.
they own the at least gaming license. I hope they don't. Actually, nothing about it. Warner Brothers is kind of infamous for doing this, but whatever. Hopefully, they don't try to micromanage it too much and make it a PG-13 movie. Hopefully not.
Ooh.
That'd be that'd be
Like, but it's Mortal Kombat. It
I
kind of
know.
ruins the point.
I know.
Like, that's the mortal part.
Yeah. All right, we'll see. Did you see the most recent Ghostbusters movie?
So, like, Chris Hemsworth, Melissa McCarthy.
Yeah.
I did not. I heard very poor things about it, so I
Yeah.
chose not to.
Like that movie had, the four main Ghostbusters were was an all female group. Essentially
Mhm.
every single role was role reversed,
Yeah.
and it came out as like the atmosphere around it was like if you don't like it for any reason, you're a sexist and whatnot. Which like I can understand. You know, some people obviously didn't like it because they are female, and that's kind of scummy. But
Mm-hmm.
like I went into it with the idea of the trailers looked bad, not just because it was an all female group, because the trailers just looked bad.
They just look poor, yeah.
But like, you know, maybe it can still be funny. I like every single one of these people on SNL. Like it's this is a hilarious cast. Hopefully, you know, it can at least be funny.
They can make it work.
It's not a bad movie because of the all female cast. It was just a bad movie because it was a bad movie. It
Yeah.
one of those things that tried way too hard to reference the old stuff yet not do anything new with it. And like there's like one or two coolish scenes, but outside of that, it just wasn't very enjoyable to watch. So with that being said, apparently there's going to be a new
I'll say
Ghostbusters
it.
movie released next year in the same timeline as the original two. So yeah,
So is it the same? Is it the whole all female cast again, or is it
no,
just
not
totally
connected. That's
scrapped? Okay,
completely new.
so completely new Ghostbusters, but to the tied to the original
Yes,
Ghostbusters.
which the
Okay.
all female one was like almost tied to the original. There was like references to stuff that happened in those movies. Yeah, Bill Murray and all the others like made cameos as different people. So it's not really in the same universe, but like it that movie's just oh that movie is weird. But yeah, this movie, the new one, is apparently tied to that old universe. So
Okay.
yeah, well,
Sure. I mean, I've never been a big Ghostbusters fan
honestly, me
myself. Like,
neither.
I've never,
It's
so like,
it's
I'm not
fair.
against it, but it's just never my like, oh yeah, it's not my favorite '80s movie or anything like that.
Like I like the theme song. Like if when it's on around Halloween, I'll watch it. But like, it's not like a
Hmm.
go-to Halloween movie. It's not one I like adore like some people do. But it's a decent movie. Like you know, I wouldn't like mind seeing it again. But so I'm like I have like a passing interest in just what this new movie's gonna be. But hopefully it's not bad. That's just as
Yeah.
best we can hope for, I guess.
It'll probably be better than the last one. Like, let's be
Yeah.
honest. Like, it's not gonna be,
Mm.
you know.
Yeah. I kind of hope just they kind of I don't know come full circle whatever. I kind of hope that if they still have you know the four-person Ghostbusters group, I kind of hope it's like a mixture of male and female, so that way we can kind of please everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, throw some diversity in there to
Yeah.
try to, yeah. But I mean, like, yeah, I do
And
think
then
that
if it's
it.
bad, you just it's just the movie's bad. You can't really
Right, you can
say
just blame the movie. It's not
yeah.
about, oh, you hated it because it's like, no, no, no. It's just a bad
It's bad.
movie. Like, I don't know. Yeah, I feel like they tried to use that excuse to why people didn't watch it, but I'm like, no,
Yeah,
this is
and
bad.
Sony
Like this.
themselves, like the people making it, like they even like call people out as being as like you know insulted people for things certain things because they didn't like the movie. It's like no, just you just made a bad movie. Just the trailers were bad. Just you don't
I'm
Sony doesn't know how to make
gonna.
trailers, so just stop.
Hmm.
Now, time to move on to Nerd Clash. So, with Kingdom Hearts 3 releasing next Tuesday, I figured it's about time to get Sora into one of these. So,
Oh, not biased at all.
this week we have Sora from Kingdom Hearts versus Link from The Legend of Zelda.
Ooh, okay. Um, well, Link's got a lot, and there are a lot of abilities, but then again, it's
Like,
like,
just kind of start listing Sora's like
well,
abilities
so
and stuff.
okay, okay, well, here's the thing about Sora. Sora, I mean, it's the Keyblade. It's a magical weapon. It has the ability to theoretically, it can like it's a key, so it can unlock any
Hmm.
kind of locked anything. It gives him ability to magic, so like he's got like fire magic, blizzard magic, thunder, reflect, which is basically a shield that can block back anything. It's
Uh,
kind of like very much blocks back anything. There's like air magic where it's like tornadoes, like arrow. There's a stop time magic.
hmm.
There's there's a lot of magic to it. He
Okay.
can summon other Disney characters, everything from like Simba to Genie to Peter Pan and Tinkerbell, like pretty much the disposal of any Disney character.
Okay.
It's pretty like it's a little bit of everything, so it's kind of hard to like
Hmm.
it's kind of hard to explain because it's pretty any like magic you've seen in a Disney movie is theoretically on the table.
Okay. Okay. But just from that list right there, like for every magic you said, I could easily think of something Link could either have the same thing or
Yeah,
could, right? Like he could also
yeah,
shoot beams from
probably.
his sword. He also has,
Right.
fire, lightning, wind, ice weapons.
Yeah.
He can stop time with the ocarina. He can, well,
Mhm.
he can do time stuff with that. So, and like any like big blast he could, sword could attack with him. Yeah, the Hylian shield could most likely block it. Um, where Link's got all like bombs. Uh, in one, I don't know if this is considered canon, but at least in Hyrule Warriors, the hook shot like enhanced. When it's enhanced, he can like Majora's Mask, like that giant moon that comes down and
Yeah.
crushes. He can like grapple the moon and bring it down, destroy stuff.
Throw
So
down the moon. Yeah.
if
That is
we take
pretty cool.
that as
That is pretty
canon,
cool.
that's kind of
Theoretically throw him he can theoretically pull a Thanos and just
yeah,
throw a moon at people.
yeah.
I mean I think that is a good ability. That is kind of
Mm.
cool.
Can Sora fly?
With certain yes, it's
Okay.
with certain in certain continuity. He has a certain they're like he has like transformation.
Mm.
And well, it depends on the game because he also has the whole like faith, trust, and pixie dust thing in the first
Right.
game, so he can fly with that. But
Yeah.
there's also a dry form in the second game where he can just fly, just because
Mm.
like the
Yeah.
keyblades act as he gets two keyblades and their wings basically, and they fly
Cool.
him
Cool.
around and beat stuff
Hmm.
up for him. He kind of
Yeah.
it's pretty amazing. So yeah,
Um.
he can fly.
I know Link could obviously fly in a loft wing. I
Right.
think I don't think any of the masks from Majora's Mask would give him flight. No, they give him swimming powers. Goron, Zora. I don't think he necessarily has anything that like he himself could fly with, but he
But like he could get something to fly
yeah,
with,
yeah.
basically. Yeah. So that works.
Hmm.
Yeah. What else can I do? Well,
Oh,
theoretically,
oh.
his keyboard. Yeah.
So, in Breath of the Wild, considering how I think you can have up to 30 weapons, like 30 like swords and stuff, like at least half as many bows, half as many shields and whatnot. If each of those swords is, the standard weight of like a normal longsword, Link theoretically should be able to lift like 4 tons.
I mean, I hear that, but like, I don't know. I don't know how legit
Some of
that
those
is.
axes in that game are really big.
But 4 times though,
it,
like, come on now.
if you can carry 30
Let's
of
be
those,
reasonable here. But he doesn't carry them all at the same time.
they're all just in his bag. They're on his person
Okay,
at
but
all
that's
times.
like okay, but come on, like we know he's not carrying. Like, come on, we're better. That's not carrying 8,000 pounds over here. This guy's not, he's not Superman now. Let's be reasonable.
He is the hero of time.
Oh my
He says it can't.
god,
Actually,
yeah, I
if he
mean,
decided to wield the Triforce of Power, he definitely could,
I feel
or
like
the
that. I feel like that's a stretch to say the least.
or the Great
But I
Deity
mean,
mask, he definitely could.
you know what? Sure, sure. You know what? Sure. We'll play along. You can lift 8,000 pounds. Sure, we'll go with that.
Mhm.
Oh my god, dude. Oh my god. You know what? If he can lift 8,000 pounds, he might beat Sora. I'll give him that. But I mean, I don't know how much.
The main thing that Sora would have over him is being able to summon basically any Disney character.
Right.
Um,
Because if I summon Hercules, like,
yeah, But like again, he could
Now who's
just
deciding?
like create like a tornado using the Wind Waker, or go back in time to
Oh.
before that happened. Um,
Yeah, oh that's the thing about video game characters. They're kind of both broken.
I mean, also Zelda has had like 30 years worth of games,
This
so
is
Link can
true.
kind of do, depending
At
on the
this
timeline,
point, he
like
can do everything.
anything. So,
Yeah. It's kind of hard. You don't have nearly as many Kingdom Hearts games as Zelda games, but I mean, yeah, especially when not all the Kingdom Hearts games have Sora specifically, because other
mm.
Keyblade Widows can do other stuff.
I
Because like,
mean, let's
there's
just say it's Sora could do anything a Keyblade can do, just
oof, that's,
just to
okay.
make it more
Well,
balanced.
yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, there's more. Like, you can go Keyblade. Like, there's this Keyblade transform. Well, you can actually do it in the new like transform your Keyblade into like a laser cannon can
Right.
transform into. It's like one was like a giant hammer. One was like I want to say like a solar beam or something. Like I don't know
Mm.
how it worked, but it just like completely destroyed. Because like there's, I'm trying to think what else the Keyblades can transform. There's also like what's the word for it? I don't even remember the word, but I don't know. But yeah, there's like the different drive forms and other
Mm.
Keyblades, and like those are really powerful. But I mean, again, they're broken. Like they can do basically like they in their own right, they can virtually do anything. So I think just because Link has more access to resources, he might have the edge. Just because at this point, I mean, how many Zelda games there been at this point? Like I don't even know.
Um, I'd say
Right?
at least 15,
That's
because you
what I'm saying.
have
Like,
the
I know it's
original
more than like
two,
10.
Link to the Past, um, Ocarina of Time. I know I'm skipping some, but Majora's Mask, Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, Skyward Sword, Breath of the Wild,
Let's see.
A Link Between Worlds, Link's Awakening, Oracle of Ages and Seasons, Hyrule Warriors, um, Minish Cap, Spirit Tracks, Phantom Hourglass.
Yeah, like
There's quite
they've
a
been, that's what
Fortune's
I'm saying. They've been
Adventure.
making
there's
like
there's
they've
a
been
number.
making games. Yeah, I mean, okay. Let me see. I got one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine, 10. Good gracious! I got 22, I believe,
Okay.
counting Birth of the Wild or Breath of the Wild.
Mm.
So yeah, he's pretty busy. Meanwhile, Kingdom Hearts games. There's the first one, second one, Birth by Sleep, Rechain, 358 over two. Uh, it's like final chapter prologue, if that really counts. Dream Drop Distance and Kingdom Hearts 3. That's pretty, so like 8 games,
Mm.
and only half of those have Sora in them, but still.
But like still within all of those games, he still able to
Yeah,
transform like into different into
yeah,
different worlds, and it also kind of like I like matchups like this because both of these characters are essentially like the savior of their respective game series, kind
right.
of. So like they're OP within their universe, but that doesn't
Exactly.
necessarily relate to them against each other. So
Right. It's like in their world, it's like, bro, like you can't,
yeah.
like it's broken. Like I mean, there's literally like you can just erase people. When you can erase someone from existence in your respective world, it's like, okay, we're kind of we're at the point of basically it doesn't get any better from here.
Mhm. So yeah, it just I mean I am personally leaning more towards Link, but let's I mean I never
But then
played. If
again,
I played Kingdom Hearts, I'm sure like I would have some more stuff to
yeah,
bounce
and I
off
mean,
of. But like,
I've only played Breath of the Wild like or Breath of the Wild for
mm,
like a couple hours, so like I'm not too into Zelda, but
that's fine.
like but yeah, I've got some Kingdom Hearts history. I've played one or two of the games, so
Mhm.
you know,
So, yeah,
put in. I didn't put nine. I only put 99 hours in on three of them, I think. So
no big deal.
no big deal. I've slayed a heartless or two in my day.
So yeah, let us know down below what who you think would win this. I would love to see this as like an actual death battle someday. I think that could be
Oh gosh, that'd be kind
pretty.
of crazy.
Yeah. Um, because I know they've done Link versus Cloud and
Mm.
Hit from Kid Icarus versus Sora.
Yeah.
I think Sora won that. So and Link won his. So yeah, I could do
Maybe
it.
Cloud. Well, if he, yeah, because Cloud, in terms of like stuff, Cloud's like he doesn't have as much as Sora, but this Final Fantasy and Kingdom Hearts are kind of in the same realm, obviously. So it kind
Yeah.
of he
Yeah.
gets a lot of his stuff from that.
Mm.
So maybe that's an indication, but I don't know for sure. Because Sora has a lot more at his disposal than Cloud does, despite
Yeah.
Cloud's many abilities.
Yeah. But Sora does not have a sword nearly as big as Cloud does.
I mean, it's not about how big the sword is. It's about how much power comes out of the sword and whether or not you can get two of them and fly around and
Fair enough.
stop time and cut people in half. But
Okay. So, is there anything else you want about this week you want to reiterate or talk about?
um, not much. Just hype for next week, man. Like it's going down. Like you don't see me for the next couple of weeks, you know what happens.
Okay.
So
Well, we'll plan
like,
around it.
don't send anyone for me. I'm fine. I am just enjoying my game that
Mhm.
I, yeah, I'm probably gonna spend some time doing, but
Mhm.
have to be done.
Okay. And with that, we'll see you all next time.